It's sleeting and raining for me. There we go. Okay. Today, I've created a class, or today we're gonna practice something that supporting a healthy lower back. Now, that's not just core. You'll see it's still a well-rounded practice, but probably you won't see any deep back bending, but it might bring a little more familiarity with what is it to strengthen and find a healthy lower back. Well, it's just our core, but it's also our hips, it's also our glutes. So let's not wait, let's get started. And if you're already there, stay there. If you're not, bring your feet onto the mat, legs are bent. You're going to separate them to a comfortable place that when you settle the knees in towards one another, you still feel nicely purchased. You feel the ground beneath the feet, okay? And then just slowly supporting through the forearms all the way down the lower back, the mid, the upper back, the back of the head, and then just adjust your footing to find some comfort. Again, lifting the hips, lowering, just feeling a nice even space alongside the spine. Bring the hands right to the lower belly, softly turned in. Upper arms are resting on the ground. We'll just close our eyes for a moment. Perhaps just, using this shape to create this space for deliberate movement. So maybe you're noticing how your mat feels beneath your feet, or your feet feel on your mat, or the pressure downwards, or the back of the head, or how you have a sense of the shoulder blades are softening into the ground, releasing away from the front of your chest. All these things, just sensory, becoming aware, perhaps observing a few cycles of breath. Good. So let's just take the eyes as they're softly resting behind the lids. We'll just bring the gaze downwards a little bit. You might feel some fullness in the lids. That's kind of nice. And then very slowly and gently start to raise the lids, establishing that soft gaze, unfocused. And so just before we move any further, can you just bring your awareness to the back of your neck and notice that it's not pressing into the mat, that the chin is not lifting too far up where you feel this shortening in the back of the neck. You just want to feel soft and neutral, both sides, front and back. Okay, keep it that way if you can. We're going to just let the hands slip off the belly, come to the ground alongside the body, palms facing down. And scooch those, heel toe those feet in until you feel, it doesn't matter if they really are, but I want you feel that they're sort of in line now with your hips. They're not strained outside of the hips. Nice. And we'll lift the toes and the broad part of our feet right to the back of the heel, each of the heel. Press down into the ground, those heels, and lift the hips up, up, up. Try not to clench your glutes. Try to just lift and focus more on the front of the hips, lengthening and opening. Feel the upper back, so closer to the lower back of the neck. Come to the mat, release the backs of the arms as best you can down. You might even want to press a little bit, not too much, down into the ground. We're not going into a back bend. Keep the flexion in the ankles, keep the lift in the hips, keep the spread across the upper chest and the pressure through the back of the head. Just stay here for a moment, getting this sort of static heat through the back. Feel the front of the ankles and the shins waking up. And then slowly, really focus on the fulcrum, your hips. As we lower it, don't bring it all the way down to the mat. Lower it down towards the mat. You'll have this feel of hovering. And then press it back up smoothly. No jarring movements. Don't slam it up, just open it up. Okay, so you resist the urge to go to the sort of the endpoints so quickly. Enjoy the ride. Go back down. So do a few more of these at your own pace. Keep the flexion in the ankles. Keep the tugging of the belly into the spine. Just mindful of the space at the collarbones, away from the throat. Keep doing it. Smooth. Try and keep the whole process really smooth, rich, and deep. Okay. And do one more wherever you're at. Do one more and stay up here. Again, just focus a little bit on the backs of the shoulders, soften them into the ground a little more. You might feel a little more opening in the front of the chest and the rib cage. Good. That's it. And then bring yourself all the way down to the mat. Feel the buttocks come down and then release the feet down. Take the moment for the release in the ankles to happen. I have to press into the back of my head just because I got some pulling in my back. Now, you could try sliding your hand in beneath your lower back. Okay. So we were doing a little bit of glute heat, and now we're going to do core. But I want you to notice what it's like to be plugged in, not pressing your lower back into the mat. Okay. The other thing is if you feel your low belly popping up, it's a sure sign that you're not actually engaging. Okay. So let's bring the arms. Actually, first we'll bring the legs. So the knees are over the hips. The shins are parallel to the floor. The ankles are active again, and the toes look to the ceiling. Just keep them hip distance apart. Okay. Don't bring them together. And we're going to take the arms and press them up to the ceiling, but get some wrist work, opening the palms to the ceiling, keeping nice and even space between each and every finger and the fingers and the thumb. Okay. And then press the upper back into the mat. You probably felt like the chest open a little bit and some pressure through the, keep that. So this is a nice way to keep noticing the arms placing here, give us a little stability through the upper chest and the upper back, because we're going to plug in the belly. We're going to take the left leg, keep it exactly the shape it is, and just bring the heel to the mat. Okay. Tap it and bring it back up. The arms are going to stay stable. We're just going to tap the left leg down. So some of this repetitive movement is really important too. We don't want to just do static work. So feel what we're doing. Feel this stretch and release and strength in the core. When you have to hold on, okay, the lower back's not pressing into the mat. Keep the hands as they are. And then this time, just bring it down and hover it over the mat. Okay, maybe it's almost at the mat. Maybe it's not. Just keep the leg in the same shape. Keep the flexion in the wrists, the upper back pressing into the mat, and then bring that leg up. Keep the arms again and go to the other side. Tapping the right heel to the mat, tap and bring it up. And just be really mindful when you tap, how does this feel through the front of the right hip, through sort of around the navel, perhaps radiating like a sunburst. Okay, lower back's not pressing into the mat. So we're getting this girdle strength. Tap, do it slowly. Don't do it all floppy. Connect with that. Okay, the next one you come down, just keep it hovering to the mat. The left leg is stayed static. The arms are the same. Good. Now bring that leg back up. Release the tension in the ankles. It should feel good as the feet sort of soften away from the ceiling. Let go of the wrists, so the palms kind of soften. Bring them to the palms to the knees. Let the calves come to the hamstrings, slowly working into Apanasana. So the lower back is going to lovely stretch into the mat. Maybe rock a little bit side to side, tiny micro movements or circles. Good. And one last, now we're going to flex the ankles. It's not the only time, but this time one more. Bring the neck, the chin to the throat, the neck up, the crown to the ceiling, and try to grab the ankles, the calves, or the outside of both feet. Press into those hands and get some nice work in the upper back, this closed up chin to chest, stretching and fanning out. So maybe sensing or becoming familiar with what we just did. The lower back was like this broom going down in Apanasana, and now we've moved the work and the deeper opening primarily to the upper back underneath the shoulder blades. Good. Let go, bring the feet down, just come to your side, come up to sitting. Okay, finding, you can always put a little block down if that feels good at the beginning. Otherwise, take the hands now, turn them up and bring them to shoulder height. Stretch them to the sides of your space and squeeze the shoulder blades together. So thumbs are kind of reaching toward behind us. The arms aren't right out. You can miss them. You don't have them in your peripheral vision anymore. Squeeze a little bit more through the shoulder blades. And then really zipper up the chest. So try not to overdo where you feel softening in the front of your throat. You start to do this like you're swan diving. Keep nice and strong through the rib cage, strong through the upper back. Good. Now turn both arms to face the front of the space. Bring the palms together. Lean forward out of the hips. Keep the arms coming forward, shoulder height parallel to the floor. Separate them now, turn them to face the ground. Bring them down to the ground. You may want to walk them a little bit forward. At some point, we'll get the message that it might feel really nice to soften and bring the ears down alongside the arms. Take a moment to draw the belly up into the spine, to dome the back, to stretch through those hands. Oh, fingers, thumb. Maybe put the pressure to the outside of your right arm and right pinky, just angling yourself, and the left getting into the opposite waist. A few more of these. And then slide the hands back. Bring them down to the mat, shift the weight. We're coming into that table shape again. If you came in a little bit later, this is a practice to support lower back health. Plug the belly in. Turn the toes under, both sets. Turn the feet. Lift the knees from the mat. Let the hover happen. Keep an honest in-breath and an honest out-breath. Don't rush, just stay here. Looks really easy. Lower the knees, keep the feet as they are, and we'll take the right leg straight out. Spread the toes and keep the leg looking to the mat. Okay. And then lift the left shin from the mat. Keep long. Really sense this connection from the back of the head to the back of the heel on the right side. Fire up the thigh muscles on the right side. Let the shaking happen. Feel that aliveness, the balance, the work, strong through the front. You don't want to feel like a hammocky in the front of the belly. Lower this left knee. Bring the right leg back. Soften in towards the heels and out of the wrists. But just put the pressure towards the heels for a moment. Keep the hands glued, stretching out the feet even more and letting go of the strength in the tummy just for a moment. Coming back up. Take the left leg straight out, spread the toes. If anything, angle this leg slightly inwards and really stretch it. Fire up the thigh. Lift the right knee from the mat and now create that shape, color it in, breathing into little shadowy corners of it. Be okay with this sort of feeling of tension, but balance, buoyancy. And the neck is neutral. I'm just looking at you. Knee, right leg down, left leg comes in, keep the toes curled under, just a little bit longer, stretch one more time in towards the heels and let the hands slide forward on the mat. If they've gone off the mat, just bring them back on the mat. Keep the gaze sort of softly between the thumb tips. Press the hands down. Bring the shoulders over the wrists and take the legs. You can take them one at a time back until you find this high plank. Again, buoyancy matched with stillness. It's such a, if you're feeling a little bit scattered and a little bit needing to be in too many places, this is a lovely posture. These kind of linear ones, they just quietly build the strength, build the patience and the heat. Feel it. Okay, knees down. Forearms to the mat, shoulders over the elbows. Palms again still facing down. So that's it. Plug the belly up. You probably feel some space in the lower back. Okay. We're going to step back and do this little sequence. So continuing this, so forearm plank. Again, those girdling muscles in a lovely sort of linear pose to foster patience, resilience, strong core. You feel nice and long in the back body, right? So we're going to go into a sequence between these two. First, knees down, release the feet. Okay, and elbows out to the side, forehead on the back of the hands, and release the body for a moment. Unzip completely. Very, very different. Soft belly, soft back. Okay, lift the head, elbows back to where they were, palms down, create that shape, toes under, and lift. And start to really soak up the difference between these two sides. This is all, so I feel really open to a very creative pose flow. Lower the knees, release the ankles so the feet come down, pubic bone down, elbows out, forearm on the back of the hand, unzip. Work is as important as rest. We'll do one more of those, the full cycle. So head from hands, elbows in. Yeah, toes under, knees, and lift. Everything, fire up. So here's building a strong core. It's not just a strong core that supports back, lower back health. It's a strong lower back too, which we're about to get to. So now knees, again, soak up the softness, flip the feet, bring the forehead to the back of the hands. Unzip, heels will fall out. Be okay with the rest side. Okay, start to bring the heels back in as we fire the legs back up. Get the thigh muscles strong, press the tops of the feet into the mat, and the pubic bone and hips down. And then keep the hands glued to the forehead. I'm gonna lift everything up. Now it's not gonna go high. Okay, press those legs down, press the hips down into the ground. Keep the elbows up. Now separate the elbows. So the hands, so the elbows are coming out shoulder height, like those goalpost arms. Forearms are perpendicular to the upper arm, somewhere around that. So you feel the shoulder blades come into the game. Lighting up the back body. So you're building that heat. You can also do these micro movements as you exhale, sort of go down and inhale, float up, just to really get a sense of where the work is. And now stay up, and we're going to flip the arms, slide them down the body, backs of the hands look to the floor. Thumbs are looking in. Shoulder blades increase their movement to the spine. We open up the chest, reach the hands towards the feet, open up the upper chest, keep the chin nice and soft, and just work with this floating back bend. It's a variation in locust. And then bring the hands back through, put them down on the ground, elbows again under the shoulders, but just gently take a sphinx. So at some point, release the tension in your bum, press the forearms down, bring the chest up. Feel long in the back of the neck. Long in the inner legs. Okay, so now we're going to go to either side of strength. So coming over to the right side, flexing the feet. Putting the right arm beneath the right shoulder. Left hand is going to just support, just get in a line. You don't want to be, I was sort of hinged, so you want to be as straight as you can and reach quite strongly down the inner legs. If you know it's a bit of a challenge, take this left leg and put it on the floor on an angle, and that will help. Okay, it takes the weight off the pose and off the bottom. Otherwise, reach up, find that length down the right side of the body. Okay, bring that left arm up and face forward. Now this idea of all those little arrows sliding up the front of the arm, fanning out the under or through the palm and the fingers. So you keep opening that up a little bit. And then let's turn this top arm to face ahead of us, the short end, and just bring it down to mirror the length of the legs. These are just, don't have to do any of these. Just breathe through that intensity. Keep the breath work, keep the strength. You can sweep that arm back up. Bring it all the way down to the mat and try to control the descent of the hips. Try not to sink too fast. You're going to go over to the left side. Same thing. Left elbow under the shoulder. Legs lengthen or adjust. Right hand supports as we get in. And then start to refine it. Reach down the inner leg. Breathe into the shape. Stack that right arm above. How's the neck feeling? Is it dangling? Do we need to right it? Lengthen it. Breathe it. Whew. Now take the whole arm, the right one, to look towards your right ear and bring it in a line. If you did it on the other side, how much more that intensifies the posture because we're lengthening, right? So we've done front, back, and sides. Bring the arm up, back, down. Find the mat now, the hands beneath the shoulders, elbows traveling behind the wrists easily, and just take a little back bend now. So cobra. No full wheels or anything like that today, just a little back bend. Again, you can grow it with the breath or just really soak it up. And then pull the hips up and find your downward dog. Stretching up, hinging at the hips, pedaling it out a little bit. Okay, bring both knees down to the mat. Keep toes curled under. Come to stack the shoulders over the hips, over the knees. And take the right leg through. Take the arms down by the side, palms will face in. You need this over the right ankle, knee over the ankle, so you feel nice and strong. They're rooted down. Tether right to the core of the earth because we're going to need it as we lift up. Let's just take the right hand palm into the sacrum, left palm right below the navel, and very gently, but sort of have this idea of gently drawing your left palm sort of up and in, and the right palm in and down. I try to keep this opening. It's just to entice a little more opening for that left hip. Let go of the external manipulation. Those tiny little dips. Maybe it's just the thought of a dip. It's certainly not a big movement. I would notice it. Really keep full purchase of that right foot. Hands come to the heart. Find stillness and reach down the back leg, extending out of the ankle of the left leg, right up to the left ear. Snug the shoulder caps into the body and feel that power in this long, hinged lunge. Just spreading the toes and press down that right heel, okay? Really press it down. Keep that tether, keep long to that center of the left heel, both of them. And then separating the hands, they come out. We're stacking both legs up into a balanced squared hip, closed hip, reach to the sides of your space. Continue with the arms out of the hips this time instead of the ankle. Reach them up beside the ears and bend the right leg for a variation this high lunge. And then bend at the elbows, sweep the arms back. I have my bookcase here and down. Do 2 more of these big circles. Sweep the arms back, down and around, and 1 more. Then facing each other, they turn away, they reach. My bookcase is in the way. Up. Palms together above the crown. Drop the hands. Lower them to the heart. Lower the left knee down to the mat. Separate the hands. Take the right leg back. Come kneeling up, opening both hips at the same time, shifting the weight into the right, taking the left leg down. Really get that purchase down through the foundation, which are the feet and the broad part. Yes. Yeah. And then lift. You can again do a little gentle movement up in the front hand, down and in the back hand, and then let go and just try to reproduce that. Again. Do your little up and downs, maybe not. Wow, this gives a lot of strength. Okay. You're going to go into that lunge. Bring the hands to the heart. Yes. Again, kick the back heel out. I see a lot of collapsing of that back heel inwards. Really keep that full leg rotation in of that back leg. Okay. Yes. Press through that left heel. Feel the fullness in the right as you stretch it away from the groin even more, even more, even more. Power it up, send the arms out. So now bring the focus to the left heel and how full and rich it feels attached to the ground, to the earth beneath it. And then encourage it inwards, just like a little smile in. You probably felt a little more stable, I hope. And then with that lovely rotation, that will help encourage the knee from collapsing in, which is kind of painful and not. Arms come up out of the hips. Feel this length out of the waist, and then bend this left leg. Find the throat again. So as we move in transition, we need to find the home again. So you find the stillness to reach it up, fill it in. Again, that back leg strong, the front leg bent, palms come together, down to the heart, and draw. Oh yes, sweep, thank you, Laura. I think it's because when I was creating it, I had the bookshelf and I said, don't put that in there, Jill. You're going to hit the bookshelf. And I did it anyway. I left it in. Okay, 3 of those. I need a little more space. Bring it in and bring the hands down to the heart lower. And we're going to find the mat. Lower this right leg. Bring the left one back. Stack one more time above. Release the feet. Take the arms to shoulder height, palms face in, and lean back over those feet. A really rich counter pose for the ankles, for that evenness right above. So we did asymmetrical. Now just soak in this openness, the strength of the core. Feel the channel, the energy channels moving up. Lift the arms up and then hinge. So keep that connection from the hip to the fingertips. Plug it in. Take this thunderbolt shape. And then turn both arms to face the ground and find it beneath the palms. Shift the weight and create downward dog. Okay. So let's just balance this with a little bit of a soft wave-like flow. Come back to the breath. There were some strong shapes there. So inhaling, try to do it with me. Inhaling with to plank to the crown, plug the belly up and the knees go down, stretching out those feet, ankles, lower back, stretch the back. Arms are strong. Inhaling back to plank, the legs open as the shoulders stack. Find that. Pull the belly up and in, hinge up, and downward dog. Spread out the arms to the shoulder caps. Inhaling to plank, heels forward. Exhale, the knees down. Move back. Inhaling forward to plank, shoulder caps firmly rooted in the body. Exhale, downward dog. Spread the toes. One more. Inhale, flow. Exhale, release back. Inhale, back. And exhale, downward dog. Okay. Let's take a walk up to the hands. Big little steps, whatever suits. Keep the feet hip distance apart when you get up there. Slight bend in the knee. And just drape. Really have this idea of draping the spine out of the tilted pelvic bowl, and the palms of both hands flip. The shoulders release indeed. So this is what we generally don't have, but we do have that round shape of the shoulders. Okay. Slowly begin to straighten the legs. Feel the length happen. Bring the hands to the side of the legs and just scoot up to half stand. Bring the arms down the sides of the body. Lift the toes and replant them, getting full-footed. And then come to stand with the arms by the side of the body. We'll take the left arm. I'll mirror forward. Lift it up as if you're going to just tweak the ear and then take it back. And look at the difference of where your hand is, right? The left one is now sort of back here. Do it with the right forward, up, ratchet it back and slide it down. And then visit the rib cage and start to find your equilibrium with the dome of the ribs, where the lungs and the heart essentially float equidistant from all sides. It's a nice feeling. Just have that intention. Okay. So part of supporting the lower back is also building some strength in the glutes. We've done some of the major ones, but there's the medius, which is on the side, that tends to be quite weak. So this is, we're just gonna sort of say hello to it. So we've done it before, but it's a slight different variation. So we'll take the left leg, I'm not gonna mirror you, behind. Don't put it too far, because you're gonna try to get purchased right through the big toe side of your left foot. So put it down, and I give a slight bend in the knees. So that means you don't feel overstretched in the back to the knee. Okay. This is not about depth. This is an interesting inquiry for where? The outside of your left leg, primary, and the side here. So let's progress just into half stand. And because that allows us to body read and to sensory read to see how this feels. And is it okay? Maybe you're going to go past half. Maybe the hands will come down. You can feel free to leave them at the hips and the elbows bent to the ceiling if that works better for you. Just notice that the chin straining forward, let go and get length in the back of the neck. And now do your own micro movements, your own inquiry by, I don't know, reaching down a little stronger through both legs, maybe bending the knees a little more or bringing the belly towards the thighs. Breathing into the upper back as well. Press primarily down into the big toe sides of the feet, both, but primarily the left one. Now, if you feel that this is comfortable, again, you can straighten your legs. There's so many sort of choices to pick, but maybe try putting a little more pressure into the heel of your left foot. That should intensify things. Explore, be present. Don't go beyond the edge. Good. And then coming up, I would suggest if you straighten to bend, okay, and come up slowly half stand, so because it's a very awkward small place. Oh, okay. Undo, and we're going to go to the other side. Same posture, other side. So step it back, find your placement that's comfortable for you and your inner thighs, hands. And we think we can all go halfway. And that's where it starts to get fun. Be creative. Be very present. Have fun with it. All right, remember to put the weight on the big toe side if you can. If this is all wonderful and you're really folding, you can really focus on the pressure in the back heel, the right heel, center of the right heel. Interest, IT band, singing a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Take your time if you want to get another breath or two down there. You can hang out on the way up. Soften the knees, step out of it. And just allow the weight distribution to even out between the foundation, between the feet, along the sides of the body. And then we'll bring the big toes together at the top of the mat and the hands resting at the heart gently. Palms in. Inhale, the arms up in a V, open the chest to the sky. Whatever feels good. Exhale, plug the belly in, bring the palms together and just unzip down that midline, allowing the belly to the thighs, the crown to the floor. Inhale, lifting to a quarter lift, lengthen. And exhale, plant the hands and take your left leg back. Inhale to the fingertips themselves, okay? Pull this right hip in and press it to the back of your space. Plant the left hand, bring the right one on the right thigh. Take a moment. Slowly, you can inhale, start to Open your left shoulder towards your right shin, but you don't go into the twist. And then you can follow the exhalation by allowing the rinse to happen. Press the feet down and in, and then inhale, maybe the right arm up, moving with the cycles of the breath, expanding with the inhale, contracting with the exhale, filling in those little dark corners. Exhaling now the right hand down. There's that pause. Inhaling to the fingertips, get some space in the upper chest. And exhale, buoyantly plug the left foot down, let the body finish the exhale towards the ground. Inhaling to Trini. And exhale, plant the hand, shift the weight, take the right leg back. There's the end of the exhale. Inhale, bring to the fingertips, shoulder caps into the body, and left hip, call it in towards your groin. Plant the right hand, bring the left hand to the thigh. Just feel the fullness of following the breath. Inhale, focus on opening the right shoulder towards the inner thigh. Don't go too far, because it's on the exhale that you start to really take the lunging twist. Inhale, stacking the arm. Exhale, filling in, coloring it in, lengthening, reaching, rooting. Exhale the left hand down. Inhale to the fingertips. Exhale, soften the knee and step through, back and down. Inhaling to Trini, quarter lift, lengthen. Exhale, shift the weight into the right foot again. Take the left leg back and turn it on an angle. Inhale the right arm across the right thigh. Just exhale, filling in, finding our way. Press through that right heel. Arm of the left arm looks out. Inhale, spiral it all the way up to the top of the breath. Open both arms to the front or the side, long side of the mat. Inhale. And exhale, the arms will look to the ground at shoulder height and the right leg will bend. Take another breath here, filling it in, sending that energy back down to the earth. Another one, in, gazing over the right hand. This one, exhale, cartwheel the left arms down, find the mat. Let the crown fold towards the ground. Inhaling, pivot the back foot as we lengthen. Exhale, soften the knee, step through, control it, and love this symmetrical right here, this tiny, tiny tuck. Inhale, get that buoyant chest. Exhale, press, take the right leg back long and turn it on an angle. Inhale, bring the left hand across the thigh. Exhale, just find the foundation. Inhale, right arm away from you, sweeps forward, up, press through that left heel. Arms will face the long side of the mat. Inhaling up in the waist to the pinky side of the left hand. Arms come shoulder height. Gaze over the middle finger, bend that left leg. Breathe. Radiate. Exhale, send it back down. Another one. Radiate up the sides, out the arms, fullness everywhere. Down. And then right arm goes all the way down around plants. Left one goes down. Follow that exhalation, softening the crown to the floor and doming the right side of the body. Inhale, pivot on that back foot so you're looking forward. And here's the exhale. Send it to the mat. Bend belly to thigh. Take yourself in the tiniest little seed pod shape. Lengthen. Last side, bend. Take the left foot back, keep it forward. Inhale, again, just fingertips grazing the ground. We can set the hips, trying to take the right hip in and back. That's it. And then both arms reach forward. We're going to come in, go high forward lunge, arms face the ceiling. Bring the right hand, palm down. This is hard, so you might just have this sense of starting to move in it. And left arm reaches up out of the left hip. We're balancing here. Right arm's down, left arm up. And very gently start to side bend over towards that right hip. Lunging, side bending, and breathing. Left arm's going to go back and the right one will meet it. It will float up facing the ceiling again where it started, offering this fullness in the upper chest, and then find the mat and final step through and enjoy the softening into the thighs. Lift up, take it back, long, deep, toes stay looking forward. Inhale to hover. That just gives us the chance to really solidify this. The dome of our ribs feel really engaged down the waist. Arms will look at sweeping up. Left leg stays bent. That's it. Nice. Kick that back heel out. So you feel nice and spirally long. And then left hand comes to the thigh. Right arm reaches up and out of the pelvic bowl. And now this, you can stay here. This is a wonderful shape. So many lines. Focus perhaps more on your waist, or maybe we're called to create space in the breathing muscles of the side ribs, of the ribs. Wherever it is, allow it. Inhale. Enjoy that tether and plant the hands. Stepping through, taking your squat, lifting to trini, and putting both legs back this time. Finding this high plank, heels behind the toes. Let's shift the weight forward. Heels come forward of the toes. We've already opened our toes, our under feet. Bring the knees down to the mat. Plug the belly in. Stay with me. Stacked arms. Point the toes. Bring the calves to the hamstrings. Shift a little bit farther forward and allow those elbows to bend, to look behind. And then refine the press. Doesn't matter if you don't go below the elbows though. Yeah. Straighten the arms. Bring the shins down. Stretch back towards the heels. Forehead towards the mat. Let the arms slide back, but I keep them active. Okay. Lift up. Shoulders over the wrists, toes under, plug the belly in, reach up and back. Step back up to the hands. Take the final seat pod here, really exposing the upper back, getting that lovely movement. The shoulder blades reach away and take a forward fold. Whatever shape, if you like to hold on to the ankles or the big second toe. And then if you're in a full, I would suggest bringing a slight bend in the knees so that we can and you will roll up on the inhale and then stop when you find the exhale happening and just own it. Let it happen. Take as many breaths as you need to come up. Opening and reclaiming a nice even rib cage just from there. So. Nice. Okay. Let's open the legs and turn the toes out. We'll be coming down to variation on Malasana. So you may find that you want to stay here, okay? We're not going to use blocks. We won't be staying. But just come down. Try to remain full-footed. If the heel starts to lift, that's a nice sign to stay and breathe into that space. But just be mindful that the higher you are, the more work it is. Because if you're down here, I've got the ground supporting me. I don't have to hold my hips up. Arms are on the inside of the legs, just offering this opening for the legs, the hips, the chest rises, the shoulder blades come to the spine. And then find the mat. Bring the feet together. And chin softens down into the waist. And again, addressing now, we'll do lazy pigeon. Again, for hips, but supporting, again, the lower back. So let's come onto the right hip, so the right side, and bring the right shin parallel to the top of the mat. You know, we do that in pigeon, but the change here is that the left leg is going to go out, but I need you to find a spot, okay, that feels okay. You could try bringing your left knee to your right back of your heel, and you will notice you're off kilter. You're on your right hip, not on your left. Just get up. See, I'm just getting a little bit, sending my hips back a little bit. You can do like this frog, this sort of L shape too. It's a little more intense. Now gently twist. Bring the tented hands to in front of the right shin and bring a little more strength to the right side of the body, pulling it away from the top of your mat as we offer the left side of the body a little more to the front of the mat. Get that right knee to sink down in towards the ground. Now, maybe this feels good here and you just want to create a little bit more of a leaning twist and stay there, or maybe the forearms can come down to the mat and you can roll a little bit forward onto that right shin. Find the sweet spot. Primarily the right hip. Piriform is right in the center, but the right hip, glute. You feel some energy pulsing, radiating up and down the right side of the body, depending on how much you've chosen to twist. Okay. If you came down to the forearms, you're going to have to come up slowly. And if you stayed up, just find the mat, get away from the intensity. Lean back into the right hip. This is where I need you to be really careful. Maybe bring your hand, just so you know that this left ankle and left knee are supported as we open. Find equal sitting. Bring the right foot in and the left leg out, flexing at the ankle. Yeah. Float the right arm up. Lean out of the hips towards and wait till you feel the response on the inner left leg. Keep reaching forward, 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 and find your ankle or your foot or your arch of your left foot. And then slowly offer the right side of the body towards the ground. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Okay, let go of that leg or the foot. Come back up. Support the left leg in. The right leg up. And find the mat now. You can switch around. So lean into your left hip and buttocks. Find your left shin parallel to the top of the mat. Bend the right leg into some fashion that doesn't hurt your knee. And adjust. So when I adjust, I just put my hands down and I leant a little bit farther forward so I could really get length through here. So I wasn't tucked under when I'm actually entering. Oh, I forgot to mention, sorry, this left shin, if you can bring it in line, you don't want it scooched out on an angle as best you can. Find the mat with the fingertips. Just explore the shape here. Maybe bringing that right knee out. I just did. And if the forearm press feels good, start to come down to it. And if you want to put pressure down into the ground to the forearms and then kind of Bring them in. You'll feel the rolling forward and the intensity increase for that left hip and buttock. And release its holding on the lower back. Okay, if you came down with me, come back to the hands. Right. Watch this right leg as you open it. I'm just going to scooch around so I don't have my back to you, and extend the right leg out, the left foot in, heel in towards the groin, lift up, get a nice tall purchase through the seat. Left arm reaches out to the side, hinge forward, so reach forward, get the benefit of that space back across the kidneys and bring it to the right ankle or foot, and offer a softening of the forehead towards the ground, and then feel this weighted left side of the body. Stretch it out. Okay, bring it back up. Plant it down, bring the right leg in and the left, finding the mat with both feet. Nice even distance, and the hands beneath the shoulders for a reverse table. So just playing around, finding that appropriate distance, floating the hips up, reaching the hands down, reaching the feet down, spreading out from that spine. Come down, bringing your bottom closer to your heels. Peel up. Bring the legs together now. Point through the feet, so open the front of the ankles and lift the shins. Slide the hands beneath, so do the hamstrings. Just give it a little support. And with the hands supporting us, just feel how what sense is radiating here. I want you to feel kind of strong, drawn up. So if you need to physically sort of find it, it's basically coughing. I'm going to take the right hand and we'll just tap the left ankle over. Feel the shoulder blade have to move and bring it back. And then do it on the other side and bring it back. Don't rush, and really fill it up. Straight arm, big open upper back, and back. Smile as we do it, and back. Going tap, right hand, left ankle or shin, whatever works. Two more on each side. Last one. Really stretch. Stretch. Yeah. Bring the feet down, open the soles of the feet towards each other. Maybe slide them in a little bit, maybe not. And we're going to fold over towards the feet. Dome the back, so you're not hinging, it's a fold. Let go of the neck and the head. Feel the squeezing of the organs in the front of the body. Okay. Lift up, send the feet again, hip distance apart. We'll bring the hands back to the hamstrings, or you can do it with without holding. We're rolling down, making it a little easier. We'll be lifting the feet and just anchoring the ankles. All these things to help roll down past that slippery spot and behind the diaphragm and the heart, and down to the back of the heads. Back of the heads, all of them. Okay, so we're going to stretch out along our mat, one of my favorites. So take the left leg, long left leg to the left corner of your mat. Bring the right one to just let it set beside it, or cross the right ankle on top of the left. Take a moment to really open the right hip towards the ground. Press into that. And just scooch the upper back over now to complement that shape, taking hold of the right wrist with the left hand to deepen this stretch along the side of the body. Straightening the arms, do whatever feels good, quite frankly. And just really try to keep nice, strong purchase through your right hip down into the ground through your right glute. And then bring the head and the chest out, undo the legs, and we'll bring it to the other side. Again, really nice and even hipped. The upper chest. Take hold of the left wrist this time with the right hand. That just gives you traction. And if you want to make it deeper, that's how you do it. So feel equally rooted through both sides of the upper back. So through the shoulder blades and the hips and the buttocks. Come back to center. We're going to just bring the feet to the mat, lift the hips ever so slightly off, and just shift them again ever so slightly to the right. This just ends up giving us a little bit more of a perpendicular trunk to legs when we come into this supine twist. The legs come together. Try to keep the knees together and the shins how we opened. Okay, shins parallel to the floor. Oopsie. And roll over to your left to bring both legs to the floor. Okay, and you will release the right shoulder blade from the mat. So you'll end up sort of like this. So just because you're going to bring the left arm, palm up, long away from you. And then bring the right palm to the left palm. So you'll have to release even more of the upper back to reach that. Okay. If it's okay, just leave that head, your left side of your head on the mat. If you're finding this uncomfortable for your neck, then all you need to do is bring the left hand to support you, okay? Or put a pillow, because you don't really need your left arm reached now. It's just to give space for your right hand to reach to. And then on one of your inhales, lift it up, right across top, and exhale it over, maybe softening it. You will not get your upper back to the mat, but just explore here. Maybe come back, do it in a flow, reaching again down, closing it up, inhaling sort of up to the stack it above, and then take your depth, exhaling, open, find that richness through the front of the shoulder, and again, close it up. If you're going more quickly and more fluidly, go ahead. We'll just do one more. And then I like to sort of soak up both sides of this. So you can do that faster. Okay, come over, back, feet to the mat, arms in, set the spine, and then lift up the hips and scooch them over to the left. Bring the shins together, the legs together, shins parallel to the floor, and go over to the right. Oh, that feels good. Bring the right arm out, stack the left palm on the right palm. And then up and over, opening that chest. Go into that flow. Up. Feel the release in the back of the ribs too when you come down. Oh, good. You can do a few more if you like doing them a little more quickly. And then bring yourself up, center. The knees again. We're coming into a version of legs up the wall without the wall. And just find a softness behind the knees, a richness in the ankles. You don't feel tension there. Arms can come down by the sides. Just soak up that rich lift. And if you like constructive rest the way we opened to close the practice, you can go there. Otherwise, you can make your way into Shavasana or another shape that kind of suits you to restore, rejuvenate, integrate our practice. And I just wanted to say, because you're at home, you may just please feel free to stay in your shape if it feels good. You don't have to sign off or sit up. Just remember to do it when you do finally get up. Just give yourself a moment to get the head above the heart. And saying that, begin to close the eyes. Just observe the breath. Just feel this pause, this space to soak up the richness of the shapes that we move through, in and out of. Just taking this moment to offer really anything that we may be holding on to that we no longer need. It's a wonderful opportunity. Just let it melt down and be neutralized by Divine Mother or the earth. Just very gently shift that awareness to the inhalations as you sort of slowly and effortlessly lead us back to the outer edges of our physical body, perhaps feeling the space around us, allowing the sounds to come in. Hi. I'm beginning just to move the fingers and the toes, maybe sliding the feet to the mat. Just coming over to your side and come up to sitting if that's what you've chosen to do. Okay. I'll just take a moment. Thank you. Moment to lift the corners of the mouth. So we'll bring the hands to the heart. Just offering gratitude. Thank you. And I hope that feels good in your body.